Good day. My name is Teresa Fredericks from Growing Businesses Using Projects. Welcoming you to my series on Excel tutorials for beginners, building the project schedule. This is part 2. What I'm doing with this series is mimicking MS Project. So whatever is done in MS Project, I'm going to be showing you how to do it in Excel. This particular video, we are creating the date range or timeline for the chart area, creating and adjusting the calendar by excluding weekends, holidays, and other non-working days, and determining the initial schedule. So you are invited to come along with us because there is going to be a downloadable exercise that you can use and follow. Welcome, and let's get started. If you have not seen part 1 of the series, I invite you to do so. The link is below. Part 1 deals with inputting project information, entering tasks using the WBS and process groups format, determining the predecessors, and getting start and end dates of tasks using only the start date of the project. This particular video is taking the data from part 1 and carrying it further. So, as I said, if you have not seen part 1, it will be useful to please stop and see that, and then you'll be able to follow on better in this part. I have gone ahead and set up all the days because we know it starts on the 3rd and it ends in June, and we have the date for the June. But let me show you what I did. I'm going to just create some space here so you will be able to see it a little better. All right. First, I put the start date, the 3rd of the 4th, because my month is in front. And I didn't want that format. So I went into the number and I went in and I took this format, which is the day of the month and the month. All right. And I didn't like it horizontal. So there are 2 ways you do it vertical. I'll show you the 2 ways. The first way, the way a lot of people know, you go into alignment and you change it vertical. So it goes like this. Now, in order to get it consecutive, you reach to here where you see the cross and then you go down. All right, for instance, you see 3, 4, 5, 6, it runs consecutive. So that is how we got the date. But then we needed to know what day of the week the 3rd of April was. So to do that, you click here and you go into function and this box will come up. Now it's on date and time. If it is not on date and time, you look for date and time and then you look down here for weekday and you click OK. And it's asking you it's asking for a serial number, and this is the number you would give it because you are trying to find out what is the 3rd of April, and you click OK. And it gives you a 4. Now, what is 4? The thing about it is Excel stores these sometimes as numbers. So I clicked on the 4, I went into numbers, and I went to custom, and I just moved general and I put DDD 3 and OK, and you realize it turns out Wednesday. Now remember I told you there's a second way to get it vertical. That way is that you go up here and you are looking for rotate text up. So we have that vertical and we know that it is Wednesday, and we just pull this along and we get the consecutive days. Now look at how big this box was. How did I get it so small? I clicked on it and I went into format and I went into column width. All right, now it automatically did it because the others are that size. But let me go here. If I wanted to reduce the column width from here, I could go into column width and I get a box. This is saying it is 8.238. I can make this 2.5 and click OK. And you realize it reduces it. And then I could just do the same to the others and they will all become. So the last thing you may be wondering is how I got the weeks. With Wednesday, so that the week ends on Tuesday. All I did is went into alignment. I did some borders, week, all right. And then I copied it across. All right. So, and then I did some formatting. I would have just gone here and look and did a fill or something like that. So you can fix it up, but you understand how I did it. I have blocked the whole area, and what we are going to do is put in the Saturdays and Sundays. So I'm going to use conditional formatting. It's up here. I'm going to go to new rule, and the rule we are using, we're going to use a formula to determine which cells to format, and the formula is equal weekday, open brackets, and we are going to go to the start date there, and we are going to put comma and then two close brackets, and we're going to have more than 5. So if whatever is there's more than 5, it's going to be colored. But in order to allow that, we have to go in and move the dollar sign before the G. So what we're going to have is G dollar 5 comma 2 close brackets more than 5. Then we go to format, and what we are going to be putting is a fill. So we're going to put a fill, and I am going to choose this one, and we're going to say okay, and we're going to say okay, and the Saturdays and Sundays have come in, right? 6 and 7 Saturdays and Sundays. Now we are going back to conditional formatting, new rule, and what we're going to try to do now is put in the holidays. So we're going to use a formula again, and this time we're going to be using the match formula, MATCH, and we're going to open brackets, and we're going to go back to 3rd of April, and now we are going to find our holidays, which we have down here. 3rd of April, we put a comma, and then we block our holidays, and they automatically come in, and we put a comma again, and we put 0, and we close brackets. And before this first one again, we are going to move the dollar sign, and we're going to format, and I'm choosing a pattern. We're going to choose this pattern. We say okay, okay, and we now have our holidays. For instance, we have 10th of April, 26th of April, we have 30th of May. We won't have 19th of June because 19th of June is outside this period. And the last thing we're going to be doing is putting in the bars to show the Gantt chart. So we're back in, we have it still blocked. We're back in conditional formatting, and we go into new rule. And what we are trying to do here is to determine whether this column here is more than or equal to the start date, whether this column here, this date here, is less than or equal to the finish date. So how do we write that? If that applies, it means that whatever is in those blocks would be within this area and would get blocked. So we're going to use a formula, and we're going to use the AND logical function AND, and both has to apply. So we're saying, is this date, which is G5, is G5 more than or equal to, so we're going to have more than or equal to the start date, which is D6, D6, and then we put a comma, and we're going back, is G5, and we're going to say less than or equal to the finish date, which is E6, and we close the brackets. So before the G's, we would remove the dollar signs, and before the last number here, we're going to move the dollar sign, and before the last number here, we're going to move the dollar sign, and we're going to go format, and I'm going to take this, and I'm going to say okay, okay, and we now have our Gantt chart finishing on the 6th of June. Now, MS project, because we had a planning. So what is the dates for planning? Planning would have started on the 3rd, and it would finish on the 25th. Now, if we put that in, you realize what you will get is a long line because they will be showing planning from for the 3rd and the 25th. You can put those in because they are in an MS project. It's just that I found the line are so fat. All right. So that it is the same thing you could do for execution. Execution will start on the 29th and finish on the 6th of June. And closing will start on the 4th of June and finish on the 6th of June. So how is this done in MS project? I'm going to bring MS project so you would realize it's the same answer you're getting. This is the same exercise in MS project. You realize it starts on the 3rd of April, finishes on the 6th of June, Wednesday the 3rd, Thursday the 6th. But this is what I'm talking about. The planning is defined by this line, but this looks so much more neater than the line in Excel. And the execution is 25 days, and closing is 3 days. So you're getting the same answer. If you like my content, give it a thumbs up and please subscribe. I hope what you can do is take a snapshot of both the Excel and the um, the project final schedule, and you can work yours back. If you have any problems, just leave a note underneath and I will respond to you. Bye.